The goodbye may have been a single moment, but its echo has filled 1,000 nights since. What if the path to peace is not to shout over the echo, but to listen so closely that you can finally hear the profound silence from which it was born, and to which it will return? Why do they still visit you in the quiet theater of your mind, long after they have left the stage of your life? The answer is not a lock to be forced, but a door that is already open, waiting for you to walk through, into a field of profound peace. Welcome, dear friend, to this quiet space. Welcome to this sanctuary we will build together over the next few hours. If you have found your way here, it is likely because the sun has set, the world has grown still, and yet your mind has not. It is likely because there is a name, a face, a feeling that continues to echo in the chambers of your heart, especially in the vulnerable stillness of the night. This journey is called Why You Still Think About Them Every Night, and it is a sleep story, a teaching, and a pathway to help you let go and finally rest deeply. There is nothing you need to do, nothing to achieve. Your only task is to listen, to breathe, and to allow these words to wash over you, like a gentle tide on a weary shore. Let us begin by acknowledging what is happening within you, without any judgment at all. As you lie here, notice the screen that exists behind your closed eyes. This is your own private theater. It is a grand and ancient place where the projector is powered by memory, by longing, by the very energy of your heart. And every night, perhaps the same film begins to play. It may be a highlight reel, showcasing the brightest moments, the shared laughter, the feeling of being understood, the warmth of a hand in yours. The projector spins these golden moments, and the ache that follows is the stark contrast between the vividness of the memory and the emptiness of the present. Or perhaps the film is not so golden. Perhaps it is a reel of questions, of what ifs. What if I had said something different? What if I had been better, or stronger, or more patient? This film is a labyrinth with no exit, each scene leading to another twisting corridor of regret. And for some of us, the film is one of pain, a replay of the final words, the misunderstanding, the moment the departure became real. We watch it, mesmerized by our own suffering, unable to look away. This is the nightly theater of the mind. You are the sole member of the audience, and yet you are also the projectionist, choosing the film. And you are the actor on the screen, reliving the part. It is an exhausting performance. It drains your energy for the day to come and steals the peace that the night is meant to offer. The first and most important step on this path is to understand that this experience, this private nightly showing, is not a sign that you are broken. It is not a personal failing. In the Buddhist tradition, this experience is acknowledged with profound clarity and compassion. It is the starting point of the entire path. It is called dukkha. This ancient word is often translated as suffering, but its meaning is far more subtle and gentle than that. It is the background hum of unsatisfactoriness, the feeling that something is just not quite right. It's the inherent friction of being a human who loves and loses and remembers. The first noble truth that the Buddha taught was simply this: there is dukkha, there is suffering. This isn't a pessimistic declaration. It is a moment of profound validation. It's the universe, the teaching, looking at you with kind eyes and saying, yes, I see, it is difficult. What you are feeling is real. Imagine the relief in that. For so long, you may have been telling yourself to get over it, to move on, to stop thinking about it. You may have been fighting a war with your own mind. But this first truth invites a ceasefire. It allows you to lay down your weapons. You do not need to fight these thoughts. You only need to acknowledge that they are here and that they are a source of unease. That is all. This nightly theater is so compelling because the mind has a habit of clinging, of holding on. This is called a padana. Your mind is not trying to hurt you. In its own confused way, it is trying to hold on to something it believes is prashasa, feeling of love, a sense of identity, a hope for the future. It is like a child clinging to a favorite toy. Not realizing its grip is what prevents its hands from being open to receive something new. The mind replays the film because it has not yet learned how to let the credits roll. It believes that if it stops projecting the image, the person and the feeling will be lost forever. So for a moment, just consider this. What if you didn't have to force the projector to stop? What if you could simply become aware that you are sitting in a theater? You are the watcher. You are the awareness that is noticing the film playing. The film is not you. The story is not you. The ache is not you. They are experiences passing through you, just as clouds pass through the sky. The sky does not cling to the clouds. It allows them to come and it allows them to go. Let us try a small, gentle practice together. There is no need to change your position. Simply bring a soft, kind attention to your breath. Feel the air entering your body and feel the air leaving your body. That's all. A gentle in-breath and a slow, complete out-breath. As you breathe, you might notice the film starting to play in your mind. An image of them might appear. A memory might surface. When it does, see if you can do something radically simple. Instead of being pulled into the story, can you just label it gently in your mind? As a thought of them arises, just say to yourself, softly, the theater is playing a film, or remembering, or simply thinking. Then, gently, tenderly, guide your attention back to the physical sensation of your breath. Feel the coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils. Feel the gentle rise of your chest or your abdomen. Feel the warmth of the air as it leaves. The breath is your anchor. It is happening right now, in this moment. The film is a story about the past. The breath is the reality of the present. In breath, the present moment is here. Out. It is a moment of peace. Each time a thought of them pulls you away, this is not a failure. It is an opportunity. It is a precious chance to practice returning to the breath, returning to the present, returning home to yourself. You are not pushing the thoughts away. You are simply choosing not to buy a ticket for the show tonight. You are noticing the poster. You are hearing the music from the lobby. But you are deciding to rest here in the quiet seat of your own awareness, anchored by the simple, steady rhythm of your breath. The thoughts may be loud at first. The emotions may feel strong. That is okay. Let them be. They are like weather patterns passing through the vast sky of your being. You are the sky, not the storm. Your task is not to stop the rain, but to remember the vast, peaceful expanse of blue that exists behind the clouds. Always, for the final moments of this first part of our journey, let go of all effort. Let go of the labeling. Let go of the focus. Simply rest. Rest as the one who is aware. Aware of the breath. Aware of the stillness of the room. Aware of the subtle feelings in your body. Aware even of the thoughts, but from a gentle distance. You have acknowledged the pain. You have named the theater, and you have found your anchor in the breath. This is more than enough for now. You have taken the first and most important step. You have chosen to meet your own heart with compassion. And in that compassionate space, true healing and true rest can finally begin. In our last section, we sat together in the quiet darkness and simply named the nightly theater of the mind. We gave ourselves permission to acknowledge the film that plays on a loop. And we discovered the gentle anchor of our own breath, a safe harbor in the storm of memory. Now that we have created this space of compassionate awareness, we can begin to look a little closer. We can bring a soft light to the inner workings of this theater, not with the intention of dismantling it by force, but to understand the mechanics that keep it running night after night. We are here to meet the ghost in the machine. This ghost is not the person you are thinking of. They are gone from this present moment. The ghost is the clinging itself. It is the residue of feeling, the energetic cord that remains connected to a time, a place, and a person that exists now only in your mind. In the language of the Buddha, this clinging is known as upadana. It is the force that fuels the projector in your mental theater, and understanding it is the key to finding freedom. There is a profound teaching that illustrates this better than any complex explanation. It is the parable of the second arrow. Imagine a person walking through a forest. They are calm, enjoying the sounds of the birds and the feeling of the earth beneath their feet. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, an arrow flies through the air and strikes them in the arm. The pain is immediate, sharp, and real. It is an undeniable shock to the system. This, the Buddha taught, is the first arrow. In life, there are first arrows. We cannot avoid them. They are the unavoidable pains of human existence. Illness, the loss of a loved one, a sudden change in circumstance, a separation, a betrayal. The ending of your connection with the person you were thinking of, that was a first arrow. It happened, the pain was, and is, real. No amount of wisdom or meditation can turn back time and make the first arrow unfly from the bow. It is a fact of your story, but then the story continues. The person struck by this first arrow looks at the wound, and instead of tending to it, they begin to spin a story. Why me? They cry out. This is terrible. I can't believe this happened. The forest is a horrible place. I will never be safe again. What did I do to deserve this? The pain will never end. And as they are lost in this storm of reactivity and fear, they pick up another arrow from the ground, and they plunge it into their own arm, right next to the first one. This is the second arrow. The second arrow is the suffering we create ourselves in response to our pain. The first arrow is the pain of the event. The second arrow is the pain of our rumination about the event. The first arrow was the departure. The second arrow is the nightly film. It is the what-ifs. It is the regrets. It is the anger. It is the endless analysis of every word, every silence. It is the self-criticism and the blame. It is every moment you spend in the theater of your mind, willingly watching a story that you know will only bring you pain. We shoot this second arrow into ourselves, over and over again. The teachings of Zen and Buddhism are not about learning to live in a world with no first arrows. That world does not exist. The teachings are about learning to not shoot the second arrow, and the third, and the fourth. This is what we mean by attachment, by upadana. It is the act of picking up that second arrow. The memory of the person is just a memory. It is the first arrow lodged in the past. It is our clinging to the memory, our insistence on analyzing it, replaying it, judging it, and wishing it were different. that causes the ongoing, nightly suffering. That is the sting of the second arrow. So, let us reflect on this with gentleness. What is it, exactly, that we are clinging to? What is this ghost in the machine? Often, we think we are attached to the person themselves. But is that entirely true? Let us look a little closer. Perhaps you were attached to a feeling when you were with them. Maybe you felt safe, seen, alive, desired, whole. The mind, craving that feeling, replays the memories as a way to try and taste that sweetness. Again, even if it's just an echo, the ghost you are clinging to might not be the person, but the ghost of a feeling you believe you cannot find anywhere else. Or perhaps you are attached to an identity. With them, you were the partner, the lover, the best friend. Your sense of self was intertwined with theirs. When they left, a part of your identity seemed to leave with them. The mind, afraid of this void, this question of who am I now, projects the film of the past to remember who it was. It clings to an old version of you because it is afraid of the uncertainty of the present you. It's an attachment to a story about yourself. And very often, we are attached to a future. You had a shared map. You were navigating towards a common destination. There were plans, dreams, unspoken promises. A whole landscape of a potential life was painted in your mind. When the connection ended, that entire landscape dissolved. The nightly theater, then, becomes a memorial to a future that never came to be. We cling not just to what was, but to what we desperately hoped would be. We are haunted by the ghost of a shared tomorrow. Let's pause here. Let this be a moment of quiet, honest reflection. There is no need to force an answer. Just allow the question to settle into your being, like a stone sinking into a still lake. As you lie here, breathing gently, ask your own heart, what is it that I am truly clinging to? Is it the person or the ghost of a feeling? Is it the past or the ghost of a particular version of myself? Is it what we had or the ghost of a future I lost? Be very gentle. Whatever answer arises, or even if no answer arises, just meet it with acceptance. There is profound wisdom in simply asking the question. By asking, you are no longer just a passive audience member lost in the film. You have turned on the lights in the theater. You have become the curious, compassionate investigator of your own heart. You are beginning to see the ghost for what it is: not a powerful entity that controls you, but a pattern of energy, a habit of mind that you are feeding with your own attention. Understanding this is incredibly empowering. Why? Because if the suffering comes from the second arrow, it means the power to stop the suffering is, and always has been, within you. It doesn't mean it's easy. The habit of shooting that second arrow is strong, but it is not invincible. For the rest of this section, simply hold this understanding in your heart. The pain of the first arrow is to be honored. The suffering of the second arrow is what we can learn to release. We release it not by fighting it, but by seeing it clearly. By understanding that we are clinging to a ghost of a feeling, a ghost of an identity, a ghost of a future. And in seeing it clearly, without judgment, its grip on us naturally begins to soften. We realize we don't have to keep picking up that arrow. We can choose, instead, to tend to the original wound with kindness and care. We can choose to rest, of course. Here are the next 5 sections of our journey. Settle in, continue to breathe gently, and allow these words to guide you. We have just seen, with gentle eyes, the nature of the second arrow. We have uncovered the ghost in the machine, the habit of clinging, of attachment, We have begun to understand that our suffering arises not from the memory itself, but from our desperate, white-knuckled grip upon it. This brings us to a profound and vital question. Why do we cling so tightly? We cling because we are trying to make something permanent in a universe that knows only one law, the law of change. We are trying to build a dam in the middle of a powerful, flowing river. The name of this river is Anicca, or and learning to flow with it, instead of fighting it, is the secret to releasing the pain you carry. Imagine yourself standing on the bank of a great river. The water flows ceaselessly. It is never the same river twice. The water that touches your feet now is gone in an instant, replaced by new water from upstream on its way to the vast ocean. You cannot hold the river. You cannot stop it. You can only witness its majestic, constant, and unrelenting flow. This river is life itself. Everything you have ever known, everything you will ever know, is a part of this river. Your own body is changing with every breath. Your thoughts, your feelings, they arise like eddies in the current, swirl for a moment, and then dissolve back into the flow. Happiness arises, and it passes. Sadness arises, and it too passes. Relationships begin, they evolve, they transform, and they end. This is not a tragedy. It is simply the nature of reality. It is the dance of existence. The pain you feel when you think about them every night comes from this essential misunderstanding. Your mind has taken a snapshot of one moment in the river, a moment of connection, a moment of love, a moment of shared laughter, and it is trying to hold on to that snapshot as if it were a solid, permanent thing. It is trying to possess a sunbeam. It is trying to capture the song of a bird and keep it in a box. But the nature of a sunbeam is to move. The nature of a song is to fade into silence. The nature of life is to flow. In resisting this flow, we create a constant, exhausting tension, a friction between our desire for permanence and the truth of impermanence. This friction is the suffering of the second arrow. There is a story that has been told for over 2,500 years that carries the heart of this teaching. It is the story of a woman named Kisa Gautami. Kisa Gautami lived a happy life until her young son, her only child, fell ill and died, consumed by a grief so powerful it bordered on madness. She refused to accept that he was gone. She clutched his small, lifeless body to her chest and wandered through her village, going from house to house, begging for a medicine that could bring him back to life. Some people turned away from her in pity. Others mocked her delusion. One could help her. Finally, a wise old man saw her profound suffering and offered her a piece of advice. "I do not have the medicine you seek," he said, "but I know of one who does. Go to the Buddha, he will be able to help you." Kisa Gautami ran to the place where the Buddha was teaching. She laid her son at his feet and cried, "O Blessed One, can you give me the medicine that will cure my boy?" The Buddha looked at her with eyes of infinite compassion. He did not dismiss her. He did not tell her she was wrong. He met her where she was. "Yes," he said gently, "I can help you, but to make the medicine, I will need a special ingredient. I need you to bring me a single mustard seed from a house in the village where no one has ever experienced a loss, where no child, spouse, parent or friend has ever died." Kisa Gautami's heart soared with hope. A single mustard seed. That was an easy task. She thanked the Buddha and immediately set off. She went to the first house she saw and knocked on the door. "The Buddha has sent me," she explained. "I need a mustard seed to make a medicine that will save my son." Can you give me one?" "Of course," the woman at the door said kindly, and went to get the seed. As she handed it to Kisa Gautami, our hopeful mother remembered the Buddha's condition. "Tell me," she asked, "has there ever been a death in this house? Have you ever lost someone you love?" The woman's face fell. "Oh, my dear," she said sadly, "do not remind me of my deepest sorrow. I lost my beloved husband just last year." With a heavy heart, Kisa Gautami returned the mustard seed. She went to the next house, and the next, and the next. The story was the same everywhere. One family had lost a parent, another had lost a child, a third had lost a dear friend. Every door she knocked on, every hand that offered her a seed belonged to a heart that knew the pain of loss. There was not a single home untouched by the river of impermanence. As the sun began to set, Kisa Gautami sat by the side of the road, the truth of her journey finally dawning on her. She had not found the mustard seed she sought, but she had found a profound and healing wisdom. She realized that her own grief, which she thought was a unique and isolated torment, was in fact the shared experience of all humanity. Death was not a special punishment inflicted upon her. It was a universal law. In that moment, her desperate personal clinging began to transform into a wide, compassionate understanding. She gently took the body of her son to the cremation, ground and let him go, her heart filled not with the madness of grief, but with the quiet peace of acceptance. She understood the river. Your pain is real, just as hers was. But like her, you are not alone in it. The loss you have experienced is part of the great, flowing river of life that touches everyone, without exception. To resist it is to suffer. To understand it is to find peace. Let us try a short practice to help us feel this truth. As you continue to lie here, bring your attention back to the flow of your breath. Now, imagine you are sitting on the bank of that great river. The water is flowing steadily before you. See the thoughts in your mind, especially the thoughts about them, as leaves falling onto the surface of this river. A memory appears. See it as a leaf landing gently on the water. Do not try to grab it. Do not try to analyze it. Just watch. As the current catches it and carries it slowly downstream, a feeling of sadness arises. See it as another leaf, perhaps a different shape or color. It, too, lands on the river. Watch it. The river of awareness simply holds it and carries it along. A question, a what if, appears. Another leaf. Let it fall. Let it go. Watch it float away until it disappears from view around the bend. Your job is not to stop the leaves from falling. Your job is simply to rest on the bank and watch the river flow. Thoughts will come. Feelings will come. This is the nature of the mind, but you do not have to cling to them. You can allow them to be part of the flow. You can allow them to arise, and you can allow them to pass. This is the practice of aligning yourself with Anicca. It is the practice of loosening your grip, of letting go of the demand that life be other than it is. The river will continue to flow whether you approve of it or not. The path to peace, the path to deep rest, lies in letting go of the struggle and allowing yourself to be carried by the current of what is. The memories may still arise, but they become, like Kisa Gautami's returned mustard seeds, not sources of renewed pain, but reminders of a universal truth that connects you in compassion to all of life. We have now stood at the banks of the great river of impermanence. We have seen how everything flows, how nothing is solid, and how our suffering comes from resisting this fundamental truth. But our journey inward must go one step deeper. We've seen that everything flows like a river, but our minds are excellent engineers. They build dams. They construct elaborate stories. And it is these stories that we become attached to, often even more than the person themselves. Now we must turn our gentle, compassionate awareness towards the story that you tell yourself. Think back to the nightly theater we spoke of, the film that plays who is the writer, who is the director, who is the editor. You are your mind. In its effort to make sense of the world and protect your sense of self, constructs a narrative around your experience. Unlike any good storyteller, it tends to edit for emotional impact. This process is so automatic, so subtle, that we rarely notice it is happening. A central concept in Buddhist psychology for this is papanka, which can be translated as mental proliferation or conceptual elaboration. It works like this. A simple neutral event occurs. For instance, you smell a certain fragrance that reminds you of them. That is the bare fact. But papanka doesn't stop there. The mind immediately leaps into action. That fragrance triggers a memory of a specific dinner. That memory triggers the feeling of happiness you felt that night. That feeling triggers the thought, I was so happy then. That thought triggers the comparison, I am not happy now. That comparison triggers the judgment, I will never be that happy again, which then triggers a feeling of deep despair. A simple, neutral scent has proliferated, has elaborated itself into a feature-length tragedy in a matter of seconds. This is the power of the stories we tell ourselves. Our ego, our sense of a solid, separate I, is the master storyteller. The ego loves a good story, especially one where it plays a leading role. In the context of the person you can't stop thinking about. The story is often a masterpiece of romantic fiction or a heartbreaking drama. The mind, like a skilled film editor, often cuts out the difficult scenes. It snips away the moments of misunderstanding, the boredom, the small annoyances, the fundamental incompatibilities. What is left is a highlight reel, a greatest hits compilation that makes the past seem like a perfect, lost paradise. And who could ever let go of paradise? We torture ourselves by comparing our messy, real, present moment to a perfectly edited, fictionalized past. There is an old parable that speaks to this tendency. A man is walking home at dusk. As he approaches his house, his heart leaps into his throat. Coiled by his doorstep is what appears to be a deadly snake. He freezes in terror. His mind races. How will he get inside? What if it bites him? He is paralyzed by fear, his entire reality consumed by the presence of this snake. He stands there for a long time, his mind proliferating, imagining all sorts of terrible outcomes. Finally, summoning all his courage, he picks up a long stick and prods the shape, only to find that it is not a snake at all. It is merely a coil of rope that he had left there that morning. In the dim light, his mind had constructed a story of a snake, and he had suffered deeply from a danger that was never real. This is what we do with our memories. We take the rope of the past, a complex thing with its own texture, its own uses, its own mundane reality, and, in the dim light of our longing and our grief, we project onto it the story of a treasure we have lost or a snake that has wounded us. We then react to the story, not the rope. We suffer from the narrative, not the reality. So, let us engage in a gentle deconstruction. This is not about invalidating your feelings or dismissing the beautiful parts of your past. It is about seeing the whole picture with clarity, which is the only way to become free. I invite you to consider a question. You do not need to answer it now, but simply let it echo in the quiet space of your mind. The story that plays in your nightly theater, the one about them, the one about you? Is it 100% true? Is it absolutely, unequivocally true that you were always happy then? Were there no moments of doubt, loneliness, or frustration? Is it absolutely true that you will never feel that way again? Can you know the future with such certainty? Is it not possible that the universe holds joys you cannot yet imagine? Is it absolutely true that the ending was all your fault, or all their fault? Was the reality not more complex? A mixture of causes and conditions, of two people doing the best they could with the understanding they had at the time. As you ask these questions, you are not being harsh. You are being a wise and compassionate friend to yourself. You are gently pointing out that the story you have been telling, the story that has been causing you so much pain, might be just. That is story, a version of events, a film edited by the ego. The practical guidance here is simply this: become a curious observer of your own narrative. Over the next few days, or even in the moments to come as you drift towards sleep, just notice the story. When the film starts playing, ask yourself, who wrote this scene? What has been left on the cutting room floor? Is my mind showing me the full documentary, or is it showing me a romantic trailer? You might notice that the story always casts them in a perfect light, or a perfectly villainous one. You might notice that your own role is either one of helpless victim or guilty perpetrator. Real life is rarely so simple. By noticing the simplifications, the exaggerations, the omissions, you begin to loosen the story's hypnotic grip. You are not trying to erase the story or replace it with a better one. You are simply seeing it as a story. When you do this, you create a space of freedom. You are no longer the actor trapped in the drama. You have stepped behind the camera. You are the director, the writer, the one who sees how the illusion is created. And from that place of seeing, you can finally choose to let the credits roll. You can choose to let the story end. You can step out of the dark theater and into the fresh, open air of the present moment, where life is happening now, unwritten and full of possibility. We have journeyed to the river of impermanence and seen that all things flow. We have entered the editing suite of the mind and seen how we construct the stories that keep us trapped. Now, we must turn our attention to the cost of this inner work. We must feel, in a tangible way, the consequences of running that nightly theater and telling that same story over and over again. We must feel the weight of the ghost you have been carrying. This persistent rumination, this endless loop of thought, is more than just a source of emotional sadness. It is a profound drain on your vital energy. In many traditions, this energy is called prana or chi. It is your life force. It is the electricity that powers your body, your creativity, your enthusiasm, your very ability to engage with the world. And every night that you spend lost in the past, you are unplugging yourself from the source and leaking this precious energy into a black hole of what was dot. Think of it like this. Imagine that every morning you were given a full pitcher of clear, fresh water. This water is your energy for the day. It is meant to nourish you, to help you grow, to quench your thirst for life. But every time your mind gets caught in the loop of thinking about them, it is as if you are taking that pitcher and pouring a little of the water out onto the sand. A single thought might be just a drop, but a whole night of rumination, that is half the pitcher gone before the day has even begun. Is it any wonder that you feel tired? Is it any wonder that the world can seem grey and muted, that joys feel distant, that you lack the motivation to do the things you once loved? You are trying to run your life on an empty battery. The ghost you are clinging to is feeding on your life force, leaving you depleted and weary. Let's use another analogy, one that you might feel in your very bones. Imagine that when this connection ended, you placed a large, heavy stone in a backpack that you wear constantly. That first stone was the initial pain, the first arrow. It was heavy enough, but with every what if, every regret, every replayed memory, you have added another stone to the bag. The bag has grown so heavy, its straps digging so deeply into your shoulders that you have forgotten what it feels like to stand up straight. You have grown so accustomed to the weight that you believe this exhaustion is simply who you are now. You believe that being tired, being heavy, is your new reality, but it is not. It is the weight of the story. It is the weight of the ghost. It is a burden you are choosing, unconsciously, to pick up again every single day. In the Buddhist teachings, we speak of wholesome and unwholesome states of mind. This is not a moral judgment. It is a practical one, like a doctor diagnosing an illness. An unwholesome state is one that, through the law of cause and effect, leads to suffering, contraction, and a loss of energy. A wholesome state is one that leads to peace, expansion, and an increase in vitality. This nightly rumination, this clinging to the past, is a profoundly unwholesome state. We know this, not because a book tells us so, but because we can feel its effects. The exhaustion is the evidence. The sadness is the evidence. The inability to be present for the beauty of your own life right now is the evidence. So, let us make this tangible. We are going to do a practice together. A body scan focused on finding where you carry this weight. This is how we bring the abstract idea of losing energy into a felt reality. I invite you to bring your awareness to your body as it rests here. Don't try to change anything. Just notice. Let your attention travel first to your feet. Can you feel them? Are they warm or cool, heavy or light? Just notice now, slowly. Let your awareness drift up your legs, through your calves and your knees and your thighs. Is there any tension here? Any tightness from carrying this weight all day? If you find a tight spot, don't try to force it to. Relax. Just acknowledge it. There is tension here. Breathe into it. Imagine your breath could carry a little bit of softness to that area. Bring your awareness now to your hips, your pelvis, your lower back. This is a place where we store so much unprocessed emotion, so much weight. Can you feel the pressure of your body against the surface beneath you? Is there a dull ache in your lower back? This is often the physical manifestation of carrying an emotional burden. Just notice it. Be with it. Breathe. Let your attention drift up into your stomach and your chest. This is often where we feel grief and anxiety most acutely. Is there a knot in your stomach? A feeling of hollowness? Is your breathing shallow, as if you can't quite take a full breath? This is the body's response to the story of loss. It tightens. It guards itself. For just a moment, see if you can allow your belly to soften as you exhale. Just a little, giving yourself permission to release the clenching. Now, bring your awareness to your shoulders. For so many of us, this is the primary place we carry our burdens. Feel their weight. Are they raised up towards your ears? Do they feel heavy, as if the straps of that backpack of stones are digging into them? On your next long exhalation, see if you can let them drop, even just a centimeter. Let gravity have them. Release the effort of holding them up. Finally, bring your awareness to your neck, your jaw, and your face. Are your teeth clenched? Is your jaw tight? This is a common physical habit when our minds are racing. See if you can create a little space between your upper and lower teeth. Soften the muscles around your mouth. Soften the tiny muscles around your eyes. Smooth out the space between your eyebrows. You have just taken a tour of the physical cost. Of your thoughts, this exhaustion is not you. It is the price you are paying for the nightly film. And here is the good news. The moment you see the cost clearly, the moment you truly feel the unnecessary weight of these stones, a natural desire arises to set the bag down. You don't have to force yourself to let go with your intellect. Your body, your very being, will begin to crave that freedom. It will know, on a cellular level, that it is time to rest. It is time to stop pouring your precious life force onto the sand and to begin, once again, to water the garden of your own life. In our last section, we felt the profound weight of the ghost we carry. We toured our own bodies and discovered the physical price we pay for nightly rumination, for carrying that heavy bag of stones. We have felt the cost. Now, the question arises naturally, not from a place of harsh self-improvement, but from a place of deep self-compassion. How do we begin to set the bag down? How do we find relief? The answer is beautifully simple. Yet it requires a radical shift in our approach. We do not set the bag down by throwing it away in a fit of anger. We do not get rid of it by pretending it isn't there. We begin by simply, gently opening our hands. We begin by creating space. We begin by emptying our cup. There is a famous Zen story that holds the key. A learned professor, a man whose mind was filled with theories, questions, and his own important opinions, came to visit a wise old Zen master to inquire about the nature of enlightenment. As the master began to speak, the professor repeatedly interrupted him, saying, "Oh yes, I know that," or, "But what about this theory?" or, "I have read about that in a book." He was so full of his own knowledge that he could not hear a word. The master was saying. The master listened patiently for a while, and then said, "Let us have some tea." He set out 2 cups and began to pour. He filled the professor's cup to the brim, and then he kept pouring. The hot tea overflowed, spilling onto the saucer and then onto the table. The professor, alarmed, cried out, "Stop! What are you doing? The cup is full. It cannot hold any more." The master stopped pouring, looked at the professor with a gentle smile, and said, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup? You, my dear friend, are that cup. Your mind is filled to the brim with stories, with memories, with analysis, with the pain of the past. It is so full that there is no room for peace. There is no space for the present moment. There is no capacity to receive the simple joy of your own existence. The practice of letting go, therefore, begins with the practice of emptying. And how do we empty the cup? We do this through the gentle art of non-judgmental awareness. This is the heart of mindfulness. It is the practice we have touched upon, and which we will now explore more deeply. It is the act of observing your own mind without getting caught in what you see up until now. Your relationship with these thoughts has likely been one of 2 things: fusion or fighting. Fusion is when you become one with the thought. The thought, "I miss them," arises, and immediately you are the sadness, you are the longing, you are lost in the story. Fighting is when you try to push the thought away. "I shouldn't be thinking about this," you command yourself, which only creates more tension and gives the thought more energy. A thought that is resisted is a thought that persists. Awareness offers a third way. It is the way of the wise host. Imagine your mind is a guest house. Thoughts are the guests that arrive. Some are pleasant and happy. Others are sad and difficult. The wise host does not fuse with the guests, leaving the guest house with them. And the wise host does not fight the guests, trying to barricade the door. The wise host simply stands at the door and acknowledges everyone who arrives. Ah, the sad thought has come to visit today. Welcome, you may stay for a while. Oh, here is the angry thought. I see you, and look, the memory of that happy day. I acknowledge your presence. By doing this, you are creating a space between you, the host, and the guest, the thought. In this space, there is freedom. In this space, there is peace. You are no longer tossed about by every visitor who happens to knock on your door. You are the calm, spacious awareness that can hold all of it with grace. So let us practice this together, right now. It is the practice of labeling thoughts, and it is a powerful way to empty your cup. Settle back into the anchor of your breath, just feeling the gentle rhythm of air flowing in and out. This breath is your home base, the lobby of your guest house. As you rest here, a thought or a feeling related to that person will inevitably arise. The moment you notice you have been carried away by it, the moment you wake up from the storyline, is a moment of victory. In that moment, instead of scolding yourself, celebrate gently. You have become aware. Then, give the thought a simple, neutral label. If it's a memory, you might say in your mind, very softly, remembering. If it's a worry about the future, worrying. If it's a judgment about yourself, judging. If it's a feeling of sadness, sadness. The label is not meant to be a deep analysis. It is just a quick, gentle nod. You are simply naming the guest at the door. Ah, a sad thought. And then this is the most important part. Too gently, and without any force, guide your attention back to the physical sensation of your breath. Feel the air moving. Feel your body breathing. You have returned to your post as the host. A few seconds later, another thought will pull you away. This is guaranteed. The mind produces thoughts that is its nature again. The moment you realize you've been swept away, you gently label it, thinking, and you return to the breath. Remembering, return to the breath. Longing, return to the breath. Regretting, return to the breath. Over and over again. This is the practice. It is the bicep curl for your attention muscle. Each return is a strengthening. Each act of labeling is an act of emptying the cup, just a little bit. You are teaching your mind a new habit. Instead of clinging to the thought, you are acknowledging it and letting it be. You are not forcing it to leave. You are simply withdrawing the fuel of your attention, and a guest who is not entertained will eventually leave on their own. Do not expect your mind to become a blank slate. That is not the goal. The goal is to change your relationship with your thoughts. The goal is to become the calm, spacious sky instead of the turbulent cloud. With this practice, you are creating room. You are pouring out the stale tea of old stories and creating the precious, empty space where the fresh tea of this present moment with all its peace, its stillness, and its unknown possibilities can finally be received. We are learning to empty our cup, to create space in the mind through the gentle practice of non-judgmental awareness. We are learning to label our thoughts and return, again and again, to the anchor of the breath. With this powerful tool, we are beginning to see that we do not have to be swept away by every memory or emotion. This practice is our vehicle. It is the way we begin to move from a place of suffering to a place of peace. And this brings us to one of the most practical and liberating parables the Buddha ever offered, the parable of the raft. Imagine, he said, that you are on one side of a vast, turbulent river. This side of the river is the land of danger, fear, and suffering. It is the land of being haunted by the past, the land of the second arrow, the land of the nightly theater. The other side of the river is the shore of safety, peace, and liberation. It is the land of freedom, where memories can exist without causing pain. Naturally, you want to get to that other shore, but you have no boat, so you are resourceful. You gather branches, vines, and reeds from the riverbank. You work diligently, lashing them together, and you construct a simple raft. This raft is not a fancy yacht. It is a humble, functional vessel. Using this raft, you push off from the bank, and with great effort, paddling with your hands and feet, you cross the dangerous river. You navigate the currents, you avoid the whirlpools, and finally, exhausted but safe, you arrive on the other shore. You have reached the land of peace now. The Buddha asks a crucial question. What would you do with the raft? He says, would you, out of gratitude for the raft that saved you, hoist it up onto your shoulders and carry it with you as you continue your journey on dry land? The answer, of course, is that this would be absurd. The raft was incredibly useful for crossing the river. It was essential. But once you have reached the other shore, the raft is no longer a tool. It is a burden. The wise thing to do, the Buddha explained, would be to moor the raft at the shore, or even to let it go to be used by another traveler, and then to continue your journey on land unencumbered. So it is, he concluded, with my teachings. This parable is a profound lesson for us on this journey of letting go. The practices we are learning, the breathing, the labeling of thoughts, the awareness of impermanence, the deconstruction of our stories, these are the raft. They are tools. They are incredibly useful, even essential, for crossing the river of suffering that comes from attachment. But we must be careful not to create a new attachment to the tools themselves. Sometimes, in our desire to heal, we can become obsessed with the process. We might berate ourselves for failing at it. I tried to meditate, but I couldn't stop thinking about them. I'm a terrible meditator. Or, I've been practicing for weeks. Why am I not over it yet? In these moments, we have forgotten the purpose of the raft. We have begun to worship it, or worse, to beat ourselves with it. We have made the practice into another source of self-judgment, another second arrow. The goal is not to become a perfect meditator. The goal is not to achieve a perfectly silent mind. The goal is simply to get to the other shore. The practice is the means, not the end. Every single time you notice your mind has wandered and you gently bring it back to the breath, you have paddled the raft one more stroke. It doesn't matter if you have to do it 10 times or 10,000 times. Every single return is a movement in the right direction. That is the journey across the river. Furthermore, this parable contains a subtle and powerful hint about the final stages of letting go. Even our desperate desire to get over them can become the raft we are carrying on our back. It can become a new obsession, a new story, the story of me trying to get over them. This story can be just as heavy as the original one. We remain focused on them, even if it is through the lens of trying to excise them from our hearts. The true other shore is not a place where you have violently erased all memory of the person. It is a place where you can think of them without shooting the second arrow. It is a place where the memory can arise, and it is seen for what it is, a thought, a leaf on the river, and it no longer has the power to cause you deep suffering. You have not destroyed the raft. You have simply left it at the water's edge. You have let it go. Its purpose has been served, so I invite you to reflect on this. How are you relating to your own healing process? Are you using these practices as a gentle raft, or are you turning them into a heavy burden of expectation? Can you soften your grip on the outcome? Can you trust that every small moment of awareness is a paddle stroke, bringing you closer to the shore, even if you can't see it yet? Let's do a short reflection on that other shore. Imagine, just for a moment, what it would feel like to be there. Imagine standing on solid ground. You look back across the water and you see the shore you came from. You can still see it, but it is distant. It no longer has the power to pull you back in. You feel the sun on your face, the firm earth beneath your feet. You take a deep breath and your lungs fill with fresh, clean air. There is a feeling of lightness in your shoulders, the place where you used to carry that heavy bag of stones, that heavy raft. You are free, not free from your past, but free from the weight of your past. The memories are part of your journey. The story of how you built a raft and bravely crossed a great river. But they are no longer your destination. Your destination is here, on this peaceful shore, where the rest of your life is waiting for you. Hold that feeling of lightness, of freedom. This is not just a fantasy. This is the promise of the practice. Every time you choose awareness over rumination, you are building your raft. Every time you choose gentleness over self-judgment, you are paddling towards this shore. Trust the journey. The raft is here to serve you, not to be served. Use it well and be prepared when the time comes to gratefully let it go. Of course, let us continue our journey. We have learned to see the raft of our practices not as a burden, but as a tool to cross the great river. Now, we must look closely at the heaviest logs that make up that raft, the ones that can snag us on the riverbed and keep us from reaching the other shore. We stand now on the bank of the river, our raft of practice in hand. We have seen that this raft is a tool to be used, not a burden to be carried forever. But as we look at its construction, we may notice that some of the logs are gnarled and incredibly heavy. They are waterlogged with old pain. One of the heaviest of these logs is the wood of resentment, of blame, of anger, of regret. To truly leave the raft behind on the other shore, to travel light in the new land of peace, we must learn the gentle, liberating art of forgiveness. The word forgiveness can be very difficult. Our minds immediately resist. Forgive them. After what they did, forgive myself. After the mistakes I made. It can feel like we are being asked to say that what happened was okay, or to let someone off the hook, or to erase the injustice we feel. But this is a profound misunderstanding of forgiveness as it is taught in the Buddhist tradition. Forgiveness, or kshanti in the ancient language, is not for the other person. It is not about them at all. It is a gift you give to yourself. Holding onto anger, resentment, and blame is like drinking a cup of poison every single day and waiting for the other person to die. Who is being harmed? Only you. That burning coal of anger that you hold in your hand, intending to one day throw it at them, is scorching your own palm, right here, right now. Forgiveness is the simple, wise, and courageous act of opening your hand and letting the hot coal drop. You do it not because they deserve it. You do it because you deserve to be free from the pain of being burned. Let us explore this through a classic Zen story. Two monks were traveling together on a pilgrimage that had taken them many miles. They came to a river where the bridge had been washed away. A young woman, dressed in fine silks, stood at the bank, looking distressed. She was afraid to cross the raging water for fear of ruining her beautiful kimono. Without a word, the older of the two monks walked over to her, hoisted her onto his back, carried her across the churning river, and set her down gently on the other side. She bowed curtly and went on her way without so much as a word of thanks. The two monks continued their journey, but the younger monk was fuming. He was scandalized. His mind was a storm of judgment. How could he do that? He thought to himself. We monks are forbidden from touching a woman, and she was so ungrateful. She didn't even thank him. He has broken his vows. He has brought shame upon us. For hours, he walked in agitated silence, replaying the scene in his mind, stoking the fires of his indignation. Finally, as dusk began to fall, he could contain himself no longer. He burst out at the older monk. How could you do that back there? You know our vows. You touched that woman. You carried her. What were you thinking? The older monk looked at his companion with calm, kind eyes. He smiled faintly and said, I set that woman down by the river hours ago. Why are you still carrying her? This is the question that forgiveness asks of you tonight. The event is over. The relationship is in the past. Like the woman at the river, it has been set down. Why? Are you still carrying it in your mind? Every time you replay the argument, every time you feel that surge of anger or that pang of injustice, you are picking that woman up and putting her on your back all over again. You are carrying a burden that belongs to the past. This forgiveness often has two faces, and we must be brave enough to look at both. The first, and often the most obvious, is forgiving them. This does not mean you have to call them. It does not mean you have to be their friend. It does not mean what happened was acceptable. It simply means you are making a conscious choice to no longer let their actions poison your own heart. It is an internal release. It is you cancelling your own subscription to the suffering. It is a declaration that your peace of mind is more important than their wrongdoing. It is the ultimate act of reclaiming your power. You are no longer allowing your inner state to be determined by someone who is not even here. The second face of forgiveness, and often the more difficult one, is forgiving yourself. Perhaps you carry deep regret. You replay your own mistakes. You judge yourself for words said or unsaid, for actions taken or not taken. You are the younger monk, but you are also the woman on your own back. You have become your own burden. Self-forgiveness is acknowledging that at that time, with the understanding, wisdom, and emotional capacity you had then, you did what you did. You were doing the best you could. To continue punishing yourself for past actions is to shoot that second arrow into your own heart again and again. Self-forgiveness is looking at the person you were in the past with the same compassion you might offer to a struggling friend. It is the act of saying, you learned from that. It is over. You are allowed to be free now. Let us try a practice that can gently open the door to this kind of forgiveness. It is a form of metta or loving kindness meditation. There is no need to force any feeling. We are simply planting the seeds. Begin by bringing your awareness into your own heart center. Place a hand over your heart if that feels comforting. Take a slow, deep breath. First, we will offer this kindness to ourselves. Silently, gently. Repeat these phrases in your mind, letting them be as sincere as possible. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be safe. May I live with ease and be free from suffering. Just rest with these words. If you feel resistance, that's okay. Just notice it, and continue to offer the phrases like a gentle, healing balm. May I forgive myself for any harm I have caused myself or others, knowingly or unknowingly. May I learn to live with peace in my heart, Now bring to mind someone for whom you feel a simple, uncomplicated affection. A dear friend, a beloved pet, a respected teacher. Hold their image in your mind's eye and offer them the same. Phrases: may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you live with ease, and be free from suffering. Feel the natural warmth of this well-wishing flowing from your heart. Finally, and only if you feel ready, if it feels too difficult, you can simply stay with yourself or your friend. Gently bring to mind the person you have been thinking about, the person at the center of your nightly theater. Hold their image at a distance. You do not need to feel a surge of love. You are simply including them in the circle of humanity. From the safety of your own heart, offer them these wishes as a way of releasing the chains that bind you to them. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you live with ease, and be free from suffering. I release you from the prison of my anger. I release myself from the poison of resentment. May you go your way in peace. May I go my way in peace. Breathe. Let it go. You have just performed a radical act of self-care. You have chosen your own peace over your own pain. You have opened your hand and let the hot coal fall to the ground. You have taken the woman off your back and set her down by the river. You are lighter now. You are freer. And in this new lightness, deep rest becomes possible. We have just undertaken the brave and tender work of forgiveness, of letting the hot coal of resentment fall from our hand. Having released the heavy chains that bound us to a painful past, we might notice that our hands, for the first time in a long while, feel open and empty. This emptiness can feel strange, even unsettling. What shall we fill this new space with? Where do we direct our energy now? We can begin by sifting through the rubble of the past, not to find more reasons for pain, but to find the hidden jewels that were always there. This is the practice of gratitude. Now, this is not a call for a false positivity. We are not going to pretend that the pain wasn't real, or that the loss didn't happen. That would be another form of denial. True gratitude, in the Zen sense, is not about ignoring the darkness. It is about having the courage to also acknowledge the light, no matter how small or distant it may seem. It is about changing our focus. For so long, your mind has been trained to scan the past for evidence of what went wrong. Tonight, we will gently retrain it to scan for what went right, for the lessons, for the gifts. When a relationship ends, our mind automatically frames it as a failure, a broken thing, a sad ending to a story. But what if that is not the only way to see it? What if it was not a failure, but simply a completed chapter? A chapter that, even with its difficult conclusion, contained passages of beauty, moments of grace, and lessons that were essential for the person you are becoming. Think of a beautiful ceramic vase. It sits in your home for years, and you love it. It brings you joy every time you see it. Then one day, it is accidentally knocked over, and it shatters. You can spend the rest of your life staring at the broken pieces on the floor, mourning the loss of the vase, feeling the anger and the regret of its breaking. Or you can carefully sweep up the pieces, and while you may feel sadness for the loss, you can also feel a deep gratitude for the years of beauty the vase brought into your life. The vase's purpose was to be beautiful, and it fulfilled that purpose. Its breaking does not erase the beauty it gave. Your past relationship is like this vase. It has broken, it is over. You can continue to stare at the brokenness, or you can begin to cultivate gratitude for the beauty it once held and, most importantly, for the ways in which its breaking has forced you to grow. Often, our greatest wisdom comes from our deepest wounds. This painful experience, this very thing that keeps you up at night, may have been a profound, if severe, teacher. Perhaps it taught you about your own strength. You have survived this. You are still here, breathing, listening, healing. That reveals a resilience you might not have known you possessed. That is a reason for gratitude. Perhaps it taught you what you truly need and value in a connection by showing you what didn't work. It has given you a clearer map for the future. It has refined your understanding of yourself and of love. That is a priceless gift. That is a reason for gratitude. Perhaps, in the quiet aftermath, you have reconnected with parts of yourself that you had neglected. Old hobbies, forgotten friendships, a deeper connection to your own inner world. The absence of one thing has created the space for many other things to grow. That is a reason for gratitude. This is not about being grateful for the pain. It is about being grateful for the lessons learned through the pain. This is an alchemical act. It is turning the lead of grief into the gold of wisdom. It is how you rewrite the ending of the story. The story does not have to end with, and then it was over, and it was all for nothing. It can end with, and then it was over. And through that experience, I became stronger, wiser, and more deeply connected to myself. And for that, I am grateful. Let us try a gentle reflection. This is not about forcing a feeling. It is a soft, curious exploration. As you rest here, allow your mind to drift back, not to the pain, but to the entire arc of the experience. And ask yourself this gentle question: what is one thing this experience taught me about myself? Just one thing. Maybe it taught you that you are more resilient than you thought. Maybe it taught you that you have a deep capacity to love. Maybe it taught you what your absolute boundaries are. Just find one lesson, and when you have it, see if you can feel a flicker of gratitude for that piece of wisdom. Thank you for teaching me this. Now, let's try for one more. Can you bring to mind one single moment of genuine, simple happiness from that time? Not a grand, romantic memory that brings an ache, but something small. A shared joke that made you both laugh uncontrollably. The taste of a coffee on a sunny morning. The comfort of silence with another person. Find one small, perfect pearl. Hold it in your mind. See the details. Feel the feeling of it just for a moment. And then offer a quiet thank you for that moment. It happened. It was real. It is a part of the richness of your life. It does not need to be tainted by the ending. By doing this, you are not trying to live in the past. You are making peace with it. You are repatterning your brain. For months, or maybe years, the neural pathways connecting to this person have been pathways of pain, of lack, of obsession. Tonight, you have just created a new pathway of gratitude. It may be a tiny little footpath right now, while the highway of pain is wide and well-traveled. But the more you walk this new path, the wider it will become. Letting go is not just about releasing the negative. It is also about integrating the positive in a healthy way. It is about acknowledging that this person, this experience, was a part of the journey that brought you to this very moment of healing. They were a teacher. They were a catalyst. The chapter is over, but the wisdom you gained is yours to keep forever. And that is a profound reason to be grateful. As you rest tonight, let your heart be filled not with the story of your loss, but with the quiet, gentle, and healing hum of gratitude. We have performed the sacred work of forgiveness, releasing the chains of resentment. We have begun the alchemical process of turning grief into gratitude, honoring the lessons from our past. As these old energies begin to settle, a space opens up within us, and in that space, a powerful and perhaps frightening question begins to echo. Who am I now? Without them, for so long, your identity may have been deeply intertwined with this other person. You were one half of a whole. Your days, your choices, your very thoughts about the future were co-created. When they left, it may have felt like a part of you was amputated. You look in the mirror and see a stranger. You go through your day feeling like a ghost, haunting the edges of a life that no longer feels entirely your own. This feeling of a lost self is one of the deepest pains of a separation, and it is what keeps us clinging so desperately to the past. We think about them because we are trying to remember who we are. Here, we encounter one of the most profound and liberating teachings of the Buddhist path, the teaching of anatta, or no self. This does not mean that you do not exist. It means that there is no fixed, solid, independent you to be found. Your sense of self, your identity, is not a stone that you carry inside you. It is a verb, not a noun. It is a flowing process, a story that is constantly being co-written with the people, places, and conditions of your life. Your identity is like a river. It is constantly changing, constantly flowing. When you were a child, your identity was a child. Then you became a student, perhaps an athlete or an artist. Later, you might have become a professional in your field. When you were with this person, your identity became a partner, a lover. You see, your sense of self is not a static thing. It is a constellation of roles, relationships, and stories that is always in flux. The suffering you feel, the sense of being lost, comes from clinging to one of those past identities. It comes from believing that me with them was the real, permanent you. Now that this identity is gone, you feel empty, erased. But anatta teaches us that this emptiness is not a void to be feared. It is a space of infinite possibility. You have not been erased. You have been given a blank page. You have not been diminished. You have been made available for a new chapter. There is a beautiful parable for this process in nature. It is the snake that sheds its skin. For a snake to grow, it must cast off its old, tight, constricting skin. This is a vulnerable process. For a time, the snake is raw and sensitive, but it is absolutely necessary. If it were to cling to its old skin, it would be choked. It could not grow, it would die. You are like this snake. The identity you held with that person was your old skin. It served you for a season. It protected you, and it was the container for your growth. But you have outgrown it. Life is asking you to shed it now. It feels vulnerable. It feels raw. This is natural, but clinging to that old skin, replaying the memories to try and feel its familiar comfort, is to choke your own growth. Letting go is the courageous act of shedding the old skin to allow the new, more expansive, more authentic you to emerge. So, who are you now? You are not the empty space they left behind. You are the one who is aware of that space. You are the one who is breathing right now in this room. You are the one who holds all the wisdom from your past chapters. You are a being filled with undiscovered potentials, interests you can now pursue, friendships you can now deepen, and a relationship with your own self that you can now cultivate in a way that was never before possible. This is not a task you must accomplish. It is a discovery you must allow. It is a reclaiming of energy. For so long, your precious life force, your attention, your prana, has been flowing outwards and backwards, into a memory, into a ghost. It is time to call it home. Let us try a practice of reclaiming This is a visualization. So just allow my words to paint a picture in your mind. Begin by bringing your awareness back to your heart center. Imagine a small, warm ball of light in the center of your chest. This is your core. This is your spirit. This is your home base. Now, in your mind's eye, picture the person you have been thinking about. See them standing at a respectful distance. And notice the threads of light, the cords of energy that extend from your heart center to them. These are the threads of your constant thought, your longing, your rumination, your anger, your what-ifs. See how much of your own light you have been sending to them, trying to keep a ghost alive in your mind. Now, with deep love and respect, both for yourself and for them, you are going to reclaim your energy. In your mind, perform a gesture of release. You might imagine taking a pair of golden scissors and gently, lovingly snipping those cords. Or you might simply see them dissolving into light dot. As the cords are released, watch as all of those beautiful threads of your own light begin to flow back towards you. See this river of energy, of golden light, flowing back into the ball of light in your heart. Feel your heart center growing warmer, brighter, and more vibrant as your own life force returns home. It is not an aggressive act. It is a loving and necessary reclamation. You are not taking anything from them. You are simply taking back what has always been yours. Your own attention, your own focus, your own precious life. Feel this sense of wholeness. Feel this sense of being self-contained, radiant, and complete. Right here, right now, just as you are. Breathe into this feeling. This is the real you. Not a half of a whole, but a whole being, standing in your own light. The question is not, who am I without them? The question is, who do I choose to become with all of this beautiful energy I have just reclaimed? The slate is clean. The page is blank. The old skin has been shed. Rest in this space of pure potential. It is not empty. It is pregnant with possibility. And the journey of discovering what grows next is the great, sacred adventure of your life. An adventure that begins tonight, as you rest deeply in the fullness of your own being. We have just done the powerful work of reclaiming our own energy, of calling our spirit home from the past and standing in the fullness of our own being. As we stand in this new, reclaimed identity, we may begin to feel a sense of peace, a glimmer of freedom. But then, from the shadows of the mind, an old, familiar voice may begin to whisper. It is the voice of the inner critic. It says, you shouldn't still be feeling sad. It says, it was all your fault. It says, you're not healing fast enough. It says, why are you still thinking about this? You should be over it by now. This voice is the master of the second arrow. It is the source of so much of our deepest suffering. It judges our healing process, criticizes our feelings, and pours salt in our wounds. Tonight, we are going to learn how to meet this voice, not with resistance, but with a revolutionary kindness. We are going to learn the art of compassionate self-talk. For most of our lives, we have been trained to be harsh with ourselves. We believe that being tough on ourselves will motivate us, that self-criticism will lead to self-improvement. But the wisdom of the heart teaches us the opposite. Constant self-judgment is like trying to grow a garden by stomping on the seedlings every morning. Nothing can flourish in a climate of inner hostility. Healing requires a climate of warmth, of safety, of unconditional tenderness, self-compassion. Known in the Buddhist tradition as karuna, for oneself, is not the same as self-pity or making excuses. Self-pity says, poor me, and gets lost in the story of victimhood. Self-compassion says, "This is painful," and offers warmth and support. Compassion is the courageous and tender response to suffering, whether we see it in another person or in ourselves. And you, my friend, have been suffering. You deserve your own compassion more than anyone. Think about how you would treat a dear friend who came to you with the exact same story you were living. Imagine they told you they couldn't stop thinking about someone they had lost, that they felt heartbroken and exhausted. Would you look at them and say, "What's wrong with you? Just get over it already"? Of course not. You would soften your voice. You might offer them a hug. You would listen with patience and kindness. You would say, "I'm so sorry. That sounds incredibly difficult." Be gentle with yourself. The art of compassionate self-talk is simply learning to turn this same quality of kindness inward. It is about becoming your own best friend, especially in the moments when you feel the most lost. The inner critic thrives on isolation. It makes you feel like you are the only one who feels this way, that your pain is a sign of your personal deficiency. Compassion, on the other hand, connects us to our common humanity. It recognizes that heartbreak, grief, and longing are not personal failures. They are a universal part of the human experience. To love is to risk loss. To be alive is to risk pain. When you feel this ache in your heart, you are not alone. You are connected to every human being who has ever loved and lost. Your pain is not a wall that separates you. It is a bridge that connects you to the whole human family. Let us try a very simple, very direct practice for cultivating this inner friendship. This is something you can do anytime you feel that wave of sadness, regret, or self-judgment wash over you, especially in the stillness of the night. I invite you now to place a hand gently over your heart, or perhaps one hand on your belly. Feel the warmth of your own touch. This physical gesture is important. It is a direct signal to your nervous system, a signal of care, of comfort, of safety. It is the gesture of a loving parent soothing a child. Now, take a slow, deep breath, and let's acknowledge what is true in this moment with 3 simple recognitions. As you hold yourself with kindness, silently repeat these phrases, letting them land in your heart. The first phrase is, "This is a moment of suffering." Just acknowledge it. You are not exaggerating, and you are not minimizing. You are simply naming what is true. This hurts. This is painful. This is sadness. By naming the suffering, you take away its vague, monstrous power and see it for what it is, an experience you are having. The second phrase is, "Suffering is a part of life." This is the bridge to our common humanity. You are reminding yourself that you are not alone. Other people feel this way. This is part of the shared human condition. This is normal. It's okay to feel this way. Many people have felt this pain before me. This step immediately dissolves the isolating poison of the inner critic. And the third phrase, offered with the utmost tenderness, is, "May I be kind to myself in this moment." This is the active ingredient of compassion. It is a gentle wish, a heartfelt intention. You are giving yourself permission to be gentle. You are offering yourself the warmth you so freely offer to others. You can add to this phrase, "May I give myself the compassion that I need." Let's put it all together. Hand on your heart, breathing gently. This is a moment of suffering. Acknowledge your pain. Suffering is a part of life. Connect with humanity. May I be kind to myself in this moment. Offer yourself loving kindness. Stay with this for a few breaths. Feel the shift in your inner climate, From the harsh wind of criticism to the gentle warmth of compassion, you are literally rewiring your brain's response to your own pain. You are learning to hold yourself instead of attacking yourself. This is not a one-time fix. It is an art. It is a practice. The inner critic has had years of rehearsal. The voice of compassion is just beginning to learn its lines. Be patient with it. Every time you choose to meet your pain with this gentle, three-step process, you are strengthening the muscle of self-compassion. You are creating a safe inner refuge where genuine healing can occur. You are learning that the most profound source of comfort and love you have been seeking outside of yourself has been waiting within you all along. Rest in that inner embrace tonight. You are safe. You are held. You are home. With the gentle voice of self-compassion as our guide, we have created a safe and fertile ground within our own hearts. The harsh winds of the inner critic have softened. The soil of our mind, for so long compacted by the heavy stones of regret and rumination, has been cleared and aerated. It is now ready. The weeds of unhealthy attachment have been seen for what they are. It is time to consciously, lovingly plant new seeds. It is time to cultivate a beautiful inner garden. For a long time, your mental energy has been consumed by a feedback loop of loss and longing. The mind has been running on a single, sorrowful program. To truly let go and find lasting peace, it is not enough to simply stop the negative patterns. We must actively introduce and nurture positive ones. In the Buddhist tradition, this is seen as the cultivation of wholesome states of mind. We are not just weeding the garden. We are planting magnificent flowers, trees, and medicinal herbs that will, in time, transform the entire landscape of our being. The most potent seeds we can plant are known as the four immeasurables, or the Brahmaviharas. They are called immeasurable because their capacity for growth is infinite. They are four qualities of the heart that, when cultivated, lead directly to the end of suffering for ourselves and others. They are loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. The first seed is loving kindness, or metta. This is the simple, unconditional wish for all beings, including ourselves, to be happy. We have touched on this in our forgiveness practice. It is the baseline of a healthy heart. It is a gentle, radiant warmth, a fundamental friendliness towards all of existence. It is the opposite of ill will or anger. When we are stuck in resentment towards someone from our past, our metta is blocked. By practicing forgiveness, we clear the channel so that this natural warmth can flow again. The second seed is compassion, or karuna. This is the quality we have just been practicing with ourselves. It is the heart's response to suffering. It is the wish for all beings, including ourselves, to be free from their pain. It is not pity, which looks down from above, but a deep feeling with someone. It says, I see your pain, and I am with you. Your own heartbreak, the very thing that has caused you so much pain, has tilled the soil of your heart and made it incredibly fertile for compassion. Your wound can become your wisdom, deepening your ability to understand and connect with the suffering of others. The third seed is perhaps the most powerful antidote to the grief you have been feeling. It is sympathetic joy, or mudita. This is the ability to feel happiness at the happiness of others. It is the opposite of jealousy and envy. When we are lost in our own story of lack and loss, our world becomes very small and self-centered. We see other happy couples and feel a pang of bitterness. We hear of a friend's good fortune and feel a shadow cross our heart. This is a sign that our mudita is undeveloped. Practicing sympathetic joy is a radical act of expanding our world. It is the practice of consciously looking for the happiness of others and allowing ourselves to share in it. When you see a child laughing, instead of letting it be background noise, you can pause and feel a flicker of that pure joy in your own heart. When a colleague gets a promotion, you can consciously celebrate their success as if it were your own. This practice is so powerful because it shows us that joy is not a scarce resource. It is abundant. By delighting in the happiness of others, we get to experience joy hundreds of times a day, instead of waiting for something good to happen in our own small, personal story. It frees us from the prison of comparison and connects us to the ocean of joy that is all around us. The fourth and final seed is equanimity, or upekkha. This is the crowning wisdom of the four. It is a deep, unshakable balance of mind. It is the ability to be with the pleasant and the unpleasant, the joy and the sorrow, the gain and the loss, without being thrown off balance. It is the quality of the great mountain that remains stable whether it is battered by storms or bathed in sunlight. It is the understanding that life is a constant ebb and flow, and that true peace does not come from trying to hold on to the pleasant and push away the unpleasant, but from finding a spacious acceptance for all of it. Equanimity is the deep peace that can hold both the gratitude for the beautiful past and the sadness of its ending, all at the same time, without needing to choose between them. There is a parable of a wise farmer who wanted to create the most beautiful garden in the land. He did not simply pull the weeds and then hope for the best. Every single day he walked his land. He deliberately planted seeds for the strongest trees, the most fragrant flowers, the most nourishing vegetables. He watered them, he protected them from pests, he gave them sunlight. He knew that if he diligently cultivated these wholesome plants, their roots would grow strong, their leaves would create shade, and in time, there would simply be no room and no light for the weeds to grow. This is what we must do with our minds. We must become wise farmers of our own hearts. Let us plant these 4 seeds right now, in a short, gentle meditation. Bring your attention back to your heart-center first. Plant the seed of loving kindness. Take a breath and silently wish for yourself and for all beings. May we be happy. Feel a sense of gentle warmth. Next, plant the seed of compassion. Think of your own pain and the pain of others, and wish, may we be free from suffering. Feel a sense of tender solidarity now. Plant the seed of sympathetic joy. Bring to mind someone who is happy and well right now. A friend, a family member, even a stranger smiling. Share in their joy and wish, I am happy for your happiness. May your joy continue. Feel a sense of expansive delight. Finally, plant the seed of equanimity. Feel the ground of your being, stable and calm. Acknowledge that life brings both joy and sorrow, and breathe in a sense of deep, balanced peace. I will meet life's changes with balance and peace. You have just planted a powerful garden. You do not need to see it bloom overnight. The farmer knows that seeds take time. Your work is simply to water them with your attention each day. By shifting your focus from the weeds of the past to the cultivation of these beautiful qualities, you are not just letting go of an old story. You are actively writing a new one. You are growing a garden so beautiful, so vibrant, so full of life, that the ghosts of the past will no longer find a home there. They will become what they are, mere shadows that fade away in the bright, warm light of your flourishing heart, of course. Let us embark on the next stage of our path together. We have planted new seeds in the garden of the mind. Now, We will learn the tools to tend to this garden in the present moment, to find the wisdom hidden in its soil, and to realize the ultimate freedom that is our true nature. In our last section, we became wise farmers of our own hearts. We began the sacred work of planting the immeasurable seeds of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, while we tend to this inner garden, nurturing the future. The landscape of our mind, we also need a powerful, immediate tool for those moments when a storm of memory threatens to wash everything away. We need an emergency brake for the runaway train of rumination. We need an anchor that can hold us steady in the turbulent waters of the present. This anchor is not a complex idea or a philosophical concept. It is something you possess in every single moment. It is your own body and the gateways to the present moment, your five senses. The mind is a time traveler. It loves to journey into the past to dissect what has been, or into the future to worry about what might be. In fact, it will do almost anything to avoid the simple reality of the here and now. The body, however, knows no time but the present. Your body is always, unfailingly, in the now. It cannot be anywhere else. Your breath is happening now. The feeling of the blanket on your skin is happening now. The subtle sounds of the room are happening now. Therefore, the simplest and most direct way to rescue your mind from the theater of the past is to guide it home to the reality of the body. The mind cannot be in two places at once with the same intensity. If it is fully engaged and absorbed in the taste of a sip of water, it cannot simultaneously be lost in a memory of a conversation from 5 years ago. If it is wholly focused on the feeling of warmth in your hands, it cannot also be generating anxiety about tomorrow. This is the secret. We do not fight the thoughts. We simply change the channel. We shift our attention from the phantom world of mental chatter to the living, breathing, tangible world of direct sensory experience. This practice is one of profound grounding. When you feel yourself spinning out, lost in thought, untethered from reality, your senses are the rope you can use to pull yourself back to solid earth. They are your sanctuary. They are always available, always waiting for you to pay attention. So, let us embark on a journey through this sanctuary together. We will take a slow, meditative tour of the five senses. There is nothing to achieve. We are simply noticing, with gentle curiosity, what is already here. This is the practice of coming home. Let us begin with the sense of sight. Even with your eyes closed, there is still seeing. Bring your gentle attention to the screen behind your eyelids. Notice the play of light and shadow. Perhaps you can perceive the faint glow of a lamp through your eyelids, creating subtle patterns of dark red or orange. Perhaps you see swirling clouds of gray or black. There may be sparks or flickers of light. Do not try to make sense of them. Do not try to form them into images. Simply receive these visual impressions as you would watch a passing landscape. From a train window, you are the calm observer of this inner light show. Just seeing, just noticing. This is what is happening visually right now. Now, let us move to the sense of hearing. Let your awareness expand to become like a large, open satellite dish, receiving all the sounds of your environment without preference or judgment. What do you hear? Perhaps you can hear the subtle hum of the device you are listening on. Perhaps the whisper of air from a vent, or the distant rumble of a car passing outside. You might hear the quiet creaks and groans of the buildings settling around you. You might even be able to hear the sound of your own heartbeat, or the gentle sound of your own breath. Do not label the sounds as good or bad, pleasant or annoying. A where sound is just a sound. It is a vibration in the air. Receive all of it, the loud sounds and the soft sounds, the near sounds and the far sounds. Let them wash through your awareness. This is the symphony of the present moment. You are simply listening. Next, let us bring our full attention to the sense of touch. This is perhaps the most powerful anchor of all. Begin by feeling the points of contact between your body and the surface beneath you. Feel the weight of your head on the pillow. Feel the pressure on your shoulders, your back, your hips, your heels. Notice the sheer reality of gravity holding you here. Now, bring your awareness to the feeling of the air on your skin. Can you feel its temperature? Can you feel its subtle movement? Direct your attention to the texture of the blanket or the sheets covering you. Feel the softness of the fabric against your legs, your arms, your torso. Notice the feeling of your clothes against your body. Let your sense of touch be so focused that you could describe these sensations in minute detail. Feel the sensation of your hands, where they are resting. Are they touching each other? Are they warm or cool? The world of touch is a universe unto itself, and it is happening right now. Be fully here, in your skin. Now, let us explore the sense of smell. This sense is deeply connected to memory, but for this practice, we will try to experience it without the story. Take a gentle breath in through your nose. What do you smell right now, in this moment? Perhaps the clean scent of your laundry. Perhaps the lingering aroma of a lotion or soap. Maybe the simple, neutral smell of the air in the room. You might not smell anything distinct, and that's okay too. Just notice the experience of smelling. Notice the feeling of the air passing through your nostrils. It is an intimate connection with your environment, taking the outside world into your body. With every breath, be present for this subtle, often overlooked sense. Finally, let us turn to the sense of taste. Bring your awareness to the inside of your mouth. What is the subtle taste that is present? Is it neutral, slightly sweet or sour? Notice the feeling of your tongue resting in your mouth. Notice the moisture. You might even swallow and mindfully follow the entire sensation of that action. There is a whole world of sensation happening in your mouth right now, completely independent of any story about the past. Be here for it. You have just taken a full tour of the present moment. You have grounded yourself in the undeniable reality of your senses. How do you feel? You may notice that for those few minutes, the nightly theater was closed. The projector was off. The ghost was silent. You were simply here. This is your escape hatch. This is your anchor. Anytime you find yourself being swept away by the current of thought, you can choose to drop this five senses anchor. You can pause and ask yourself, what are 5 things I can see right now? What are 4 things I can feel? What are 3 things I can hear? 2 things I can smell? And 1 thing I can taste. By the time you have completed this simple inventory, you will find yourself back on the solid ground of the present moment. You will be home, and here, in your true home, you are safe, you are whole, and you can truly rest. We have learned to anchor ourselves in the solid ground of the present moment, using our senses as a lifeline to pull us from the stormy seas of the past. Having anchored ourselves in this place of greater stability, we can now afford to do something truly remarkable. We can look back at the past, not with longing or regret, but with the courageous eyes of a wisdom seeker. We can approach the source of our pain, the very wound that keeps us awake at night, and ask one of the most transformative questions on the spiritual path. How can this pain serve a purpose? How can this wound become a source of wisdom? In our modern culture, we are taught to see suffering as a mistake, a problem to be fixed, a wound to be hidden and forgotten as quickly as possible. But in many ancient wisdom traditions, the wound is not seen as the end of the story. It is seen as the beginning of a deeper one. It is the very place where the light enters. It is the raw material from which we can forge our greatest strength, our deepest compassion, and our most authentic purpose. There is a beautiful and profound practice in Japan called kintsugi, which means to join with gold. When a precious piece of pottery, a bowl, a cup, a vase is broken, the Japanese masters do not throw it away. Instead, they undertake a painstaking process of repairing it. They meticulously piece the broken shards back together, and they mend the cracks using a special lacquer that is mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. The result is breathtaking. The bowl is not just repaired, it is transformed. The jagged cracks are now beautiful, shimmering veins of gold. The object does not hide its history of brokenness, it celebrates it. The scars become the most beautiful part of the object, telling a story of resilience, of healing, of a beauty that is deeper and more real for having been broken. A kintsugi bowl is considered more valuable, more precious, and more beautiful than it was before it was shattered. This is the promise of your pain. Your heart, like that bowl, has been broken. The wound feels ugly and jagged. Your instinct is to hide it, to pretend it never happened. But the path of wisdom invites you to become a kintsugi master of your own heart. It invites you to see the cracks not as a sign of your imperfection, but as the pathways through which a golden wisdom can now flow. Your suffering is not a random, meaningless event. It is an initiation. It is a sacred wound that, if tended to with courage and care, can make you more beautiful, more compassionate, and more whole than you ever were before. So, let us begin this sacred art. Let us pick up the pieces of our own heart and find the gold. This is not about intellectualizing your pain away. It is about metabolizing it into medicine. I invite you now into a quiet reflection. Ask yourself, with sincere curiosity, what strength has this pain forced me to find within myself? Pause. For a moment of silence, perhaps. Before this experience, you did not know how resilient you were. You have endured sleepless nights, waves of grief, profound loneliness, and yet you are still here. You are breathing. You are seeking healing. This pain has revealed to you a core of strength, a will to live and heal that is like bedrock, deep within you. Can you feel a sense of awe for that strength? That is the first vein of gold. Perhaps this pain has taught you the true meaning of compassion. Before your heart was broken, you may have heard of others' pain with a distant sympathy. But now, you know the texture of grief. You know the ache of longing. This wound has opened your heart and connected you to the suffering of all beings. When you now see another in pain, you see them with new eyes. Your heart has been softened, made more spacious, more capable of love. This profound empathy is a rare and precious treasure. That is another vein of gold. Perhaps this experience has served as a powerful clarification of your values. It has shown you, in no uncertain terms, what is truly important to you in life and in relationships. It has burned away the superficial and left you with the raw, honest truth of what your heart needs to feel safe, respected, and loved. This clarity is a priceless compass that will guide you for the rest of your life. It is a gift born directly from your pain. This, too, is a shimmering vein of gold. Now let us ask the second question. What has this wound taught me that I could not have learned otherwise? Pause again for quiet reflection. Maybe you have learned that you cannot place the key to your own happiness in someone else's pocket. You have learned that true, lasting peace and contentment must be cultivated from within. You have been forced, by necessity, to become your own sanctuary, your own source of comfort. This is the foundation of spiritual maturity. Maybe you have learned the vital importance of boundaries, of speaking your truth, of honoring your own needs. You have learned that your well-being is your own sacred responsibility. Maybe, most profoundly, this experience has cracked open your heart to the great mysteries of life, to love, to loss, to impermanence, to the incredible, aching beauty of this transient human existence. It has deepened you. It has added layers of character and wisdom to your soul that you could not have gained from a life of unbroken ease, you see. Your pain has not been for nothing. It has been your teacher, your initiator, your fierce and loving guide. The story of your life is not a tragedy about a broken bowl. It is an epic of a kintsugi master, bravely and beautifully mending your own heart with gold. As you rest tonight, hold this new perspective. See the patterns on your heart not as ugly scars, but as a map of your strength, a testament to your resilience, a unique and beautiful design etched in pure gold. Your brokenness is the source of your greatest beauty. Your wound is the source of your deepest wisdom. And in this understanding, you can finally find a profound and purposeful peace, resting in the magnificent, transformed vessel of your own healed heart. We have found the wisdom in the wound, transforming our pain into purpose by seeing it as a kintsugi master sees a broken bowl. We have found the gold. Now we are ready to take the final and most profound step in our journey of letting go. We are ready to look beyond the bowl itself, beyond the cracks, beyond the gold, beyond the story, and to inquire into the very nature of the clay from which it was made. We are going to the root of the matter. Here, in the deepest chamber of Buddhist wisdom, we encounter the most liberating, the most challenging, and the most peaceful teaching of all, the teaching of emptiness, or shunyata. The word emptiness can sound frightening. It can conjure images of a cold, nihilistic void, of nothingness, of a denial of life. But this is a complete misunderstanding. Emptiness, in this context, does not mean non-existence. It means empty of a separate, solid, independent self. It is a teaching not of negation, but of radical interconnectedness and infinite potential. It is the secret key that unlocks the prison of our suffering. Let us go back to the person you can't stop thinking about. In your mind, they appear as a solid, fixed entity. Them, your mind has created a detailed file. Their face, their voice, their habits, the story of your relationship. Similarly, you have a solid idea of me. Me, the one who is left. Me, the one who is suffering. And you have a solid idea of the relationship, a thing that existed and is now broken. We have these three solid concepts, me, you, and the relationship. And all our suffering comes from the painful interaction between these seemingly solid things. But the teaching of emptiness invites us to look closer. Let us take the concept of them. Who is that person? Are they just their body? Their body is changing every moment, made up of them elements. The food they ate, the water they drank, the air they breathed. Are they their thoughts? Their thoughts are constantly changing, influenced by everything they read and experience. Are they their feelings? Their feelings are as fleeting as clouds in the sky. When you look very, very closely for a solid, permanent, independent them that exists separately from everything else in the universe, you cannot find it. What you find is a process, a confluence of causes and conditions, a temporary pattern that is inseparable from the rest of life. The same is true for you. The you that is lying here tonight is not the same you that existed 5 years ago. Every cell in your body has changed. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings have all changed. You, too, are a process, not a fixed thing. You are a verb, not a noun. And what about the relationship? Was it a solid thing? Or was it an ever-changing dance of interactions, perceptions, shared moments, and misunderstandings? It was not a static object that broke, like a plate. It was a weather pattern that has now passed. This is the meaning of emptiness. Everything, when you look at it deeply, is empty of a solid, separate self. Everything is interconnected. Everything arises, not on its own, but in dependence on everything else. The flower is empty of a separate self because it is made entirely of non-flower elements: the sunshine, the rain, the soil, the bee. It coexists with the entire universe. Why is this so liberating? Because if the you who is suffering is not solid and permanent, and the they you are missing is not solid and permanent, and the pain you are feeling is not a solid object lodged in your heart, then everything becomes workable. Everything is fluid. Everything can change. You are not a solid victim, and they are not a solid perpetrator. You are two fluid processes that once flowed together and are now flowing apart. The pain is not a permanent stain on your soul. It is a temporary weather condition in the vast open sky of your awareness. Think of it this way: you are having a nightmare. In the dream, a terrifying monster is chasing you. Your heart is pounding, you are sweating, your suffering is 100% real within the context of the dream. Then you wake up. In that moment of waking, what happens to the monster? It vanishes. Where did it go? It didn't go anywhere, because it was never a solid, independent monster to begin with. It was a projection of your own mind. It was empty of a separate self. Its nature was dream stuff. The moment you realize this, you are free. The obsessive thoughts about the person you miss are the monster in the dream. The nightly theater is the dreamscape. The teaching of emptiness is the act of waking up. It is the realization that the solid-seeming stories and identities in your mind are made of dream stuff. They are made of thought, and you are the dreamer who can awaken from it. There is a practice in Zen of drawing an NCU, a circle with a single, fluid brushstroke. The NCU symbolizes the entire universe. It is a circle, so it is a form, but it is also empty on the inside. It represents the profound truth that form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. The person, the memories, the pain, these are the form, the ink of the circle. Their fluid, impermanent, interconnected nature is the emptiness. They are not two separate things. As you rest tonight, you do not need to fully understand this with your intellect. Simply allow this idea to wash over you. Let it be a seed of liberation planted deep in your consciousness. Consider the possibility that the heavy, solid story of your pain is actually as light and fluid as a dream. Consider the possibility that the person you miss is not a fixed star, but a passing cloud. Consider the possibility that you are not a broken, solid thing, but the vast, open, empty sky in which all clouds, both stormy and bright, can arise and pass without leaving a single trace. Rest in this spaciousness. This is the ultimate freedom. The freedom that comes from realizing that there is no solid prison, no solid prisoner, and no solid guard. There is only the open sky of awareness, and you are that sky. You have always been that sky. All you have to do is recognize your own vast, boundless, and peaceful nature. We have soared high into the sky of profound wisdom, catching a glimpse of the empty, fluid, and interconnected nature of all things. We have seen that the solid story of our pain is more like a dream than a reality. Now we return from that vast, open sky, and we land, ever so gently, back on the soft, warm earth of our own body, here, in this room, in this moment. For the ultimate truth of the universe finds its most compassionate and practical expression in the simple, humble act of being present. Your true home is not a lofty philosophical idea. Your true home is now the great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught this with a beautiful simplicity. He said, "The past is gone, the future is not yet here. There is only one moment for you to live, and that is the present moment. For so long, you have been trying to live in a house that no longer exists, the house of the past. You have been wandering its empty rooms, touching the ghosts of old furniture, breathing in the dust of memory. But you do not live there anymore. It is time to come home. Your true home is this in-breath, and this out-breath. It is this simple. It is this accessible. Peace is not a destination you will arrive at once you have finally fixed yourself or gotten over them. Peace is a place you can inhabit right now. It is always available. The front door is always open. The key is your own gentle attention. So let us enter this home together. Let us lock the door to the past just for tonight and take a long, healing journey into the deepest state of rest. There is nothing left to figure out. There is nothing to analyze. The time for thinking is over. The time for resting has begun. This is a practice of complete surrender. Bring your attention as gently as a feather landing to the tips of your toes. Without moving them, simply feel them. Send them a silent message of gratitude for carrying you through this world, and give them permission to completely let go. Imagine all the tension, all the restlessness draining out of your toes, leaving them soft, warm, and heavy. Allow this wave of relaxation to flow into the soles of your feet. Feel the arches of your feet, letting go. Feel your heels sinking down, heavy and relaxed. Your feet have been on a long journey. They are tired. Let them rest now, completely. Let this soft, warm wave of release flow up into your ankles and into your calves. Let the muscles in your lower legs become soft and loose. There is nowhere you need to walk to tonight. You have arrived. Let them go. Feel the relaxation moving through your knees, releasing any tension stored in these complex joints, and let it flow up into your large, strong thigh muscles. Feel these powerful muscles becoming as soft as butter, completely letting go of any bracing or holding. Your legs are now heavy, warm, and deeply, deeply relaxed. Bring your awareness to your hips, your pelvis, and your glutes. This is an area where we hold so much deep-seated tension, so much unprocessed emotion. Consciously invite this area to soften with each out-breath. Imagine you are sinking deeper into the surface beneath you, held and supported. Release the clenching. Let go. You are safe now. Allow this beautiful wave of peace to flow up your spine. Feel it spreading across your lower back, releasing the weight you have been carrying. Feel it moving up through your mid-back and your upper back, soothing all the muscles between your shoulder blades. Let the relaxation pour into your abdomen. Allow your belly to be soft and relaxed. Let your internal organs rest. We often hold our fear and anxiety in our gut. Let it go now. With each breath, just a little more. Soften, release. Feel the wave of relaxation spreading across your chest and into your heart. Feel your heart beating steadily, calmly. Let go of the ache. Let go of the tightness. Surround your own heart with a feeling of warmth and peace. Let it rest in a cradle of loving kindness. Let this peaceful feeling flow down your arms, through your biceps and triceps, your elbows, your forearms. Let it pool in the palms of your hands and flow out through the tips of every finger. Your arms are heavy, limp, and serene. They are at peace now. Bring your attention to your shoulders. This is where we carry the world. Let the world go just for tonight. On your next out-breath, feel your shoulders melting down, away from your ears. Release the burden. Set down the bag of stones. Let them be heavy, soft, and completely at ease. Allow the relaxation to flow up through your neck, releasing the column that supports your head. Let it be free and loose. Let it soothe the muscles at the base of your skull. And now let it bathe your entire face in softness. Release your jaw. Let there be a little space between your teeth. Soften your lips, your cheeks. Let your tongue rest peacefully in your mouth. Allow the tiny, expressive muscles around your eyes to completely let go. Smooth out the space between your eyebrows. Let your forehead become a wide, open field of peace. Finally, let this wave of relaxation wash over your entire scalp, and then imagine it flowing out from the very top of your head, taking with it any last remnants of thought, worry, or tension. Your entire body is now in a state of deep, profound rest. You are heavy, warm, and peaceful. You are home. There is nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. Simply rest here, in the quiet sanctuary of the present moment. If thoughts arise, let them be like distant clouds in a vast, peaceful sky. Your attention is here, with the feeling of your deeply relaxed body. This is your anchor. This is your refuge. This is your home. Rest now. Rest deeply. As you lie here, suspended in this state of profound stillness, hovering on the gentle edge of sleep, you may notice that you are simply aware. You are aware of the weight of your body. You are aware of the whisper of my voice. You might be aware of a distant sound or a slight itch on your skin. And yet, you are not disturbed. You are resting in a vast, peaceful space that can hold all of these experiences without being shaken by them. This balanced, spacious, and untroubled state of mind has a beautiful name. It is the smile of the Buddha. It is the fourth and final of the immeasurable qualities of the heart. It is equanimity. Equanimity, or upaka, is the fruit of all our practice. It is the deep peace that comes from truly understanding and accepting the nature of reality. It is the final letting go. We have practiced letting go of the person, letting go of the story, letting go of the past. Equanimity is letting go of the need to control our own inner experience. It is the end of the war with ourselves. For most of our lives, our mind operates like a frantic gatekeeper. It tries to pull in everything it labels pleasant and violently, push away everything it labels unpleasant. A pleasant sensation arises, and the mind says more. Don't go. A painful emotion arises, and the mind says no. Get out of here. We are constantly clinging to pleasure and fighting with pain. This inner battle is exhausting, and it is the root of all our disease. Equanimity is the wisdom that finally sees the futility of this war. It understands the law of impermanence that all experiences, both pleasant and unpleasant, are like clouds passing through the sky. They arise, they stay for a while, and they pass away. To cling to the pleasant ones is to set ourselves up for disappointment. To fight with the unpleasant ones is to give them more energy and power. Equanimity chooses a third option. It allows all experiences to come and go, without clinging and without resisting. It rests in the vast, calm, accepting nature of the sky itself. Imagine yourself as a great, ancient mountain. Your peak is in the clouds. Your roots are deep in the earth. You have sat here for millions of years. You have been bathed in glorious, warm sunshine. You have been pounded by torrential rains. You have been lashed by violent winds and covered in heavy snow. You have heard the songs of birds and the roar of thunder. And through it all, you have remained yourself, stable, grounded, unshaken. The sunshine does not make you arrogant. The storm does not make you afraid. You simply allow the weather of life to happen, knowing that you are the unmoving mountain, not the fleeting weather pattern. This mountain-like stability is your true nature. Equanimity is the practice of remembering this. It is the peace that comes from non-dash interference. So let us practice this for a few moments as we drift closer to sleep. Let your awareness be like the surface of a perfectly still lake. Whatever sensation arises in your experience is like a pebble dropping into the lake. You simply notice the ripples, and you watch them spread out and dissolve back into stillness. Perhaps you notice a feeling of warmth in your feet. You do not need to cling to it or even name it good. You simply notice, warmth, and you let it be. You watch it. It may stay for a while. It may fade. Your mind remains balanced, still. Perhaps an itch arises on your arm. This is a classic test for equanimity. The mind's immediate reaction is aversion. Get rid of this. But can you, just for a moment, not react? Can you simply observe the sensation of the itch with a cool, scientific curiosity? Notice its precise location. Notice its qualities, its sharp, tingling, buzzing. Just watch it without moving and see what happens. Very often, a sensation that is observed with this kind of balanced attention will change and dissolve all on its own. You are learning not to be a slave to your own impulses. A sound comes from outside. The mind might label it annoying. But can you let go of the label and just experience it as pure sensation, a vibration, energy? You let it arise in the space of your awareness, and you let it pass, without the second arrow of judgment. Even a thought of the person you have been working to let go of might arise. It may come with a familiar pang of sadness. This is another pebble in the lake. Can you meet it with this same mountain-like stability? You acknowledge it. Sadness is here. You feel the physical sensation of it in your body, but you do not get lost in the story. You do not add the second arrow. You simply allow this weather of sadness to be present in the vast sky of your awareness, knowing that it, too, will pass. This is the ultimate peace. It is the end of the struggle. You are no longer demanding that life give you only sunshine. You are no longer cursing the rain. You have become the mountain, the sky, the still lake. You have found a peace that is not dependent on conditions being a certain way. It is a peace that is unconditional. It is always here. It is the quiet, accepting, balanced smile of your own awakened heart. Rest in this unshakable peace. Rest in the vastness of your own being. Asterisk. You are resting now in the unshakable peace of the mountain, held by the profound stillness of the deep lake. You have journeyed so far tonight. You have walked through the nightly theater of your mind. You have sailed the great river of impermanence. You have learned the golden art of kintsugi with your own heart, and you have touched the vast open sky of your true nature. Now, as our time together begins to draw to a close, we prepare to offer the beautiful fruits of our practice as a gift, first as a final, loving anointment for ourselves, and then as a blessing extended to all the world. This is a moment of heartfelt synthesis. We gather all the threads of our journey, the wisdom, the compassion, the peace, and weave them into a final, powerful prayer of loving. This is the ultimate expression of our healing. For true healing is not a selfish act. The peace we cultivate within ourselves naturally begins to radiate outwards, touching all those we meet and all those we think of, with its gentle warmth. Before we begin this offering, let us acknowledge a simple truth. The path of healing is not a straight line. It is a spiral. There may be nights in the weeks or months to come when you find yourself back in the old theater. A familiar sadness may visit you. A wave of longing may wash over you. If and when this happens, it is not a sign that you have failed. It is not a sign that this journey was for nothing. It is simply the nature of the mind's old habits. But now you are different. You are equipped. You will not meet these old ghosts with despair or frustration. You will meet them as a dear friend. You will be able to say, "Ah, I see you, sadness. I know you well." You can place a hand on your heart and offer yourself the gift of compassion. You can anchor yourself in the five senses. You can watch the thought as a leaf floating down the river. You have an entire raft of tools at your disposal. These moments are not failures. They are simply opportunities to practice, to deepen your wisdom, to strengthen your compassion. So be gentle with your journey. Be patient with your heart's pace. You are learning a new and sacred way of being. And now, let us begin the great prayer, the final, full circle practice of metta. This is our blessing for the journey. Let your attention settle once more in the area of your physical heart. Imagine that warm, radiant ball of light we discovered earlier, glowing brightly and steadily in your chest. This light is your own innate goodness, your capacity for love and peace. With every breath, feel this light growing a little warmer, a little brighter. This is the light of loving-kindness. First, let us bathe ourselves completely in this light, for it is only from a full cup that we can truly give. Let these words be a deep and sincere prayer for your own well-being. Repeat them silently after me, letting the feeling of each phrase soak into your very cells. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well in body and in mind. May I be safe from all inner and outer dangers. May I be truly happy and at peace. May I accept myself just as I am in this moment. May I forgive myself for all the times I have acted out of fear or pain. May I trust in my own capacity to heal and to grow. May I be my own protector, my own sanctuary, my own best friend, now. Keeping this light bright and steady within you, let us gently bring to mind the person who has been the subject of our nightly theater. Hold their image in your mind's eye, but keep them at a gentle distance. You are safe within your own heart light. You do not need to force any particular feeling. This is not about condoning their actions or wanting to reconnect. This is the final, courageous act of untangling your own heart. This is about wishing them well for your own freedom. From the fullness of your heart, extend a ray of this light towards them and offer this blessing. Just as I wish to be happy, may you be happy. Just as I wish to be healthy, may you be healthy. Just as I wish to be safe, may you be safe. Just as I wish to live with ease, may you also live with ease. May you be free from your own anger and aversion. May you be free from your own suffering and its causes. May your heart find peace. I have set you down by the river. I release you. I release myself. May we both be at peace. Feel the energetic cords of resentment and attachment gently dissolving in this light of unconditional well-wishing. Feel the lightness in your own heart as you release this ancient burden. You are not doing this for them. You are doing this for you. You are choosing freedom. Finally, let us take this incredible, boundless light of our own heart and radiate it outwards in all directions, to all beings, without exception. For your story is not a unique tragedy. It is the human story, right? Now, in this very moment, millions of other souls are lying awake, thinking of someone they have lost. They are feeling the same ache, the same longing, the same regret. Your pain connects you to all of them. Let your healing now become a beacon of hope for them as well. Imagine your heart light expanding, filling the room you are in. Then let it expand further, filling your entire home, your neighborhood, your city. See it spreading like a golden dawn across the entire country, across the continent, across the planet. Hold the entire earth with all its beings in your compassionate heart and offer this great, immeasurable blessing. May all beings be filled with loving. May all beings be well in body and in mind. May all beings be safe from all inner and outer dangers. May all beings be truly happy and at peace. Pause. May all beings who are lonely feel connection. May all beings who are grieving find comfort. May all beings with broken hearts discover their own strength and wisdom. May all beings awaken to their own true nature of peace and love. Rest in this state of boundless, universal love. You are no longer a small, separate self, nursing a private wound. You are a part of the great web of life, a source of healing light for yourself and for the world. Your heart is as vast as the universe. Your capacity for love is immeasurable. Hold this truth as you drift now into the deepest peace. You are a blessing. Your life is a blessing. All is well. Having extended the boundless warmth of your heart to all of existence, let us now return to the very source from which that peace arose. We will make one final journey tonight, a journey inward from the vastness of the world to the utter stillness at the center of your own mind. Here, we will discover your ultimate sanctuary, the silent space between your thoughts. For all our journey, we have worked with thoughts. We have watched them, labeled them, deconstructed them, found the wisdom in them. But who is the one who is watching? What is the background upon which these thoughts appear? Your true nature is not the thought. It is not the feeling. It is not the story. Your true nature is the silent, awake, aware presence that witnesses all of it. Imagine your awareness is the vast, clear, infinite blue sky. Thoughts, feelings, and sensations are like clouds that drift through this sky. Some clouds are white and fluffy and beautiful. Others are dark and stormy and turbulent. But the sky is never harmed by the clouds. The sky is never stained by them. The clouds are not the sky. They are simply visitors passing through. The sky allows them all to come, and it allows them all to go. It remains as it is, vast, open, and at peace. Asterisk, you are the sky. You have been mistakenly believing that you are the storm cloud of grief, but you are the sky that is holding the cloud. And in the moments when the clouds part, there is only the clear, brilliant blue of your own being. This silence, this space, is not something you have to create. It is already here. It is always here. It is the very fabric of your consciousness. Our final practice is simply to notice it. Bring your attention very gently to the stream of your mind. Do not try to stop it, just observe. A thought will arise. Let it see it clearly, and then watch it as it dissolves, and then notice the gap. Long pause. 15 to 20 seconds, notice the space of silence before the next thought arises. Long pause, rest your attention in that gap. It may only last for a second or less, but in that second, there is perfect peace. There is no story. There is no problem. There is only stillness. Here comes another thought, a memory, a plan, a word. Watch it, let it pass, and then again. Notice the silence that follows. Long pause. This silence is your true home. This is your sanctuary. Rest here. Take refuge in this stillness. Long pause. Do not search for the silence. Do not try to force it. That is just another thought. Simply notice it when it naturally appears. A thought. Pause, silence. Long pause, another thought. Pause, silence. Long pause. This is the breath of the mind. The thought is the exhalation. The silence is the inhalation. Rest in that silent in-breath. Let it nourish you. Let it heal you. The projector in the nightly theater has finally run out of film. The screen is blank, but this blankness is not empty. It is full of peace. It is full of potential. It is the stillness from which all beautiful things are born. There is no need for any effort. Now, you are simply resting as awareness itself. You are the silent, spacious sky. If a few last clouds drift by, let them. They cannot harm you. They cannot disturb the vast peace of your true nature. You are home, in the stillness, in the silence, in the peace that is your very own being. Rest here now. Rest in the silence. From the silent, spacious sky of your own being, where the clouds of thought have dissolved into the vast, clear blue of your true nature, we now begin the final and most gentle descent. The journey is complete. The work is done. All that is left is to allow yourself to be carried by the great, slow tide of peace into the healing ocean of deep, deep sleep. This is the great surrender, the final letting go. Think of a single, perfect leaf in autumn. It has danced in the sun all summer. It has felt the wind and the rain. It has been a part of the great life of the tree. Now, its purpose is fulfilled. Without struggle, without resistance, it simply lets go of the branch. It does not fall. It floats. It drifts, turning and spurling on the gentle currents of the air, and comes to rest softly on the quiet earth. It has returned home. Tonight, you are this leaf. The branch is your long day, your long journey. Let go now. Let yourself float and drift and spiral down into the soft, welcoming ground of profound rest. Or imagine your being as a great river that has been traveling for 1,000 miles. It has rushed through narrow canyons. It has meandered through peaceful valleys. It has reflected the sun and the moon. Now, it has finally reached the edge of the great ocean. It does not crash into the sea. It merges with it. It dissolves into it. The small river of you dissolves into the infinite ocean of peace, becoming one with its vast tidal rhythm. Feel yourself merging now, the boundaries of your body softening, the edges of your mind dissolving, as you become one with the great, silent, peaceful ocean of sleep. There is no effort in this. It is the most natural homecoming. All of the work has been done. The nightly theater of the mind, that place of so much struggle, is now dark and quiet. The projector has been turned off. The ghost has faded into the light. The seats are empty. The audience has gone home, and a deep, peaceful silence has settled over the stage. You do not need to watch the film anymore. You are free. The second arrow, that sharp weapon of your own rumination, now lies on the ground, its power gone. You have seen it for what it is. You have learned to not pick it up. You have chosen, instead, to tend to the original wound with the healing balm of your own compassion. The war with yourself is over. A peace treaty has been signed in the quiet ink of your own self-acceptance. The river of impermanence, once a source of fear, has become your ally. You have learned to float upon its current instead of fighting it. It has carried you here, to this peaceful harbor, to this quiet shore. The raft that you built with such care, the raft of your practices, of your mindfulness, it has served. You well see it now, moored gently at the water's edge. You can leave it there. You do not need to carry it any longer. Its purpose is fulfilled. You are safe now, on the shore of deep peace, and your heart, your beautiful, brave heart. You have learned to see it not as a broken thing, but as a masterpiece of kintsugi. The lines of pain that once felt like ugly scars are now glowing softly in the moonlight, shimmering veins of pure gold. They do not speak of your brokenness. They sing of your resilience. They tell the story of your courage, of your capacity to heal, of your journey from grief to grace. Your heart is more beautiful, more precious, and stronger than ever before, made whole by the very experiences that threatened to shatter it. Rest in the quiet, glowing beauty of your own healed heart. You have reclaimed your identity. You have shed the old, tight skin of a past self and have stepped into the spaciousness of who you are now. You have called your energy home, drawing all the threads of light from the past back into your own radiant center. You are not a half of a whole. You are a complete universe unto yourself, full, whole, and at peace. And you have planted a magnificent garden in your mind. The seeds of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity are nestled deep in the fertile soil of your consciousness. As you sleep tonight, these seeds will be watered by the gentle rain of your stillness. They will grow, their roots deepening, their shoots reaching for the light. You will awaken into a world that is colored by their fragrance and their beauty. Know this, as you drift deeper now. This state of peace you feel is not a fleeting visitor. It is your true nature. It is the ground of your being. This harbor of peace is always, always here for you. Whenever the storms of life arise, you now know the way home. You can always find your way back to this stillness, back to the anchor of your senses, back to the kindness of your own heart. This sanctuary is yours forever. You have the key, and as this profound peace fills you, as it overflows from the cup of your own being, let it become your silent, effortless gift to the world. Imagine the peace in your heart as a soft, gentle light, and with no effort at all, that light begins to radiate outwards from you. It fills the room, and it touches all those under your roof with a quiet blessing of peace. It flows out into the night, a silent prayer for all your neighbors, for your community. May they also find rest. May they also be at peace. Let this light of your own attained peace continue to spread, touching the hearts of all those who, like you once did, are lying awake in the darkness. May this light find its way to those who are lonely, to those who are grieving, to those whose minds are caught in a painful loop of memory. May the peace you have found tonight become a beacon for them. May they feel, in some mysterious way, that they are not alone. May they know that healing is possible, that peace is their birthright, and that they too can find their way to a quiet. Sure, this is the ultimate expression of your journey. Your healing becomes a healing for the world. Your peace becomes a gift to all, and now there is nothing left. Nothing but the slow, gentle descent into the dreamless dark. Let go of everything, let go of the day. It is complete. Let go of the story it is told. Let go of the body. Let it sink into a wonderful, blissful heaviness. Let it drift, let it float, deeper and deeper down. Sink in, so gently, into a vast, soft cloud of peace. The last embers of thought are cooling now, fading, growing dim, dissolving into the darkness, releasing all effort, all control, surrendering to the sweet gravity of sleep. You are safe, you are held, you are at peace. Drift now, float now, sleep now, sleep deep, deep sleep.